The New Zealand shooter left behind a detailed record of his anti-immigrant, anti-Muslim rhetoric. And unfortunately, these days, this kind of intolerance is being tolerated in more places than you might think. Take a look. You have to try really, really hard to not see the rising tide of white nationalism, anti-immigrant and anti-Muslim sentiment around the globe.
In preparation for the migrants, the border is being hardened.
Ultra-conservative, anti-immigrant parties are on the rise.
So Trump's not the only one inventing border emergencies and talking about walls. I was shocked to hear that the prick allegedly behind the Christchurch, New Zealand mass shootings is a white supremacist who grew up and was radicalised in Australia. So what is the situation down there? And what are the people who may have radicalised him saying? Unfortunately, what I found here was a lot like Charlottesville. A lot of fringe activists spouting anti-immigration, racist bullshit out in the open.
If you want to fight Islam, you have to hit it at the core.
Get rid of that smug smile, you f***ing Go back to f***ing Sudan.
White people like myself feel happy and safe around my culture, my people.
And this anti-immigration fervour is uniting some strange groups. It turns out that the one thing that can bring together the alt-right and a Jew is their shared hatred of Muslims. Meet Jewish activist Avi Yemeni, a good Australian name.
Islamic immigration, cut it.
No more no more Muslims.
Get rid of African tribal...
Anyone from Africa. What about South Africans? They're a bit
I think we should allow the white South African farmers in.
What about the black South Africans? I'll take that as a no. What about Syrians?
Those who are not going to import a violent culture...
Well, how do you pick that out?
Non-Muslims.
Questions like this.
That's simple.
Are you violent?
No, you're Muslim.
We can't live in a society where we go, this race can't be in our country.
Absolutely we can.
Now, what makes Avi suddenly feel so comfortable saying this shit out loud? Well, just like in America, more and more Australian officials are comfortable saying this shit out loud.
Now we are in danger of being swamped by Muslims.
And right after the New Zealand shooting, Senator Fraser Anning blamed the victims, saying the real cause of the shooting is the immigration program that allowed Muslim fanatics to migrate to New Zealand in the first place. And then the opposition responded. So even in Australia, Conservatives are taking a page out of Trump's playbook, ginning up fear of immigrants.
It's very dangerous out there. Drugs are pouring in.
And clinging to one overly simplistic idea.
Walls work. They work. Proven.
I think it's a big waste of money.
Powerful new video shows more than 100 migrants climbing over the border wall.
Apparently, the smuggler had a ladder.
Look, people come by boat, by plane, through tunnels. And 62% of new undocumented immigrants are just people who overstayed a visa. Immigration is way more complicated than building a $5 billion wall. But have I been benefiting from a wall my entire life? I just found out that Australia is home to the largest migration fence in the world. So I'm off to the outback to investigate. I come from a land down under, la 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 la, I want to chunder. I don't know all the lyrics.
He said, I come from a land down under. Need a slow and mention
the fence is around 5,500 kilometres long. That's way longer than America's southern border. To learn more about this enormous immigrant net, I arranged to meet Carl, who maintains the fence out here in this dangerous borderland. Jim.
How you going? Carl.
G'day, Carl. You take care of this fence?
Part of it.
And what immigrants? You're trying to stop from getting, I assume Somalians or some type of boat people, probably be Asians. They're sneaky, nimble bunch that could jump over with their gymnastics or whatnot. Luckily enough for you, you don't have Mexicans here. You don't know the pain that the Americans have to feel on a constant basis. So what immigrants are you keeping out?
None, mate. Just dingoes.
Dingoes?
Dingoes.
That's right, a dingo fence. Australians build a man-made wonder to keep dingoes from wandering about. Animal expert Emma Malik explains.
You enjoying those flies there?
No, it's a horrible country. Thank God I've become an American citizen. I can't bear this. What's the history of the dingo fence?
So the reason why the fence was built was to protect the cattle and sheep. You see, sheep are pretty dumb and
Right.
they run at anything, and dingoes love to chase, so they'll just kill pretty much a whole flock.
They'll just kill it for the joy of killing?
It's instinct.
That's right. Innocent, white victims. Their communities invaded by violent killers. So the government had no choice but to build a wall. But the walls work. Do the dingoes still get through?
Oh, they do.
They come over here, they're taking our jobs, they're taking our babies.
Oh, I haven't seen a good one yet.
Yeah. The only good one's a dead one. Am I right?
Something like that, yes.
Yeah. And once they get in, you can't get rid of them. Some refuse to assimilate, living by their own set of laws. Others get lazy, living off the fat of the land, and they take whatever they want. Would you say that the dingoes who come over the border are bringing crime, they're raping?
We still talking about dingoes?
I might sound like a hippie saying this. What gives anyone the right to tell anyone where they can and can't live?
When you import this culture, what do you think's going to happen? Australia's going to end up the same shithole that they came from, that they were escaping. And you see that across Europe.
So what countries have become shitholes?
France.
France is a shithole now?
Absolutely.
The Germans took 1 million refugees.
Shitholes.
Didn't they feel that way about the Jews? They had to get rid of the Jews because they thought the place was a shithole? No, but they did. That makes sense.
You don't understand. You don't get it.
Do you feel lucky to be born into Australia?
Absolutely.
Because you could have been born into what you called one of these shithole countries.
If you look at the polls in Australia done by...
Oh, the f***ing Poles, get them out of here.
No, but the
the actual Poles. Do whites ever do anything wrong? Statistically, say in America, there's way more homegrown terrorists than there are Islamic terrorists.
I think you're nuts. You all believe in fairy tales.
I'll tell you a fairy tale. If you think all this overheated rhetoric about immigrants doesn't have real consequences, then you're ignoring reality. Hate crimes against Latinos are on the rise. And 50 people were killed in New Zealand because a deranged arsehole became convinced that Muslim lives are worth less. Words matter. So think about that instead of focusing on some pointless wall. We've got the wall in Israel.
Yep.
China had one, it was great, right? We have one in Australia.
Dingo fence?
We went to the dingo fence.
Is that a wall, though? That's a fence.
It's the longest fence in the world. The dingoes are still getting through. They're still getting through. They're finding a way. Do you think that's working?
I don't know. I don't live in the outback.
You should. There's loads of white people there. You'd love it. They'd hate you.